Hi, my name is Tari Hum, and I'm the chair and a faculty member in the Department of Urban Studies at Queens College. I consider myself a community stakeholder in Flushing.
Hi, my name is Sunny Bian. I am the lead housing organizer in Minkwon Center. I was raised in Flushing and I'm still living in Flushing. I'm a Flushing resident. I care about Flushing so much and I want to stop this current rezoning plan. And today, do you want to say your...
I'm Bobby, I live in Flushing.
On December 19, 2019, a new ULUP, Uniformed Land Use Review Procedure process began to rezone downtown Flushing waterfront area and allowed the 11 construction of luxury condos and hundreds of hotel rooms. Despite serious environmental, social, and economic concerns from the Flushing community, especially from low-income, youth, senior, and limited English proficient communities of color. 3 transnational developers have been flipping and speculating the rezoning site and land around it. The housing price and rent and Flushing have been skyrocketing. This rezoning will accelerate the process of gentrification, displacement, and homelessness.
Now, we know that the Flushing rezoning, the current Flushing waterfront rezoning, is stemmed from a brownfield opportunities planning area study. That site, that whole area is going to receive and benefit from public brownfield remediation money, but it's going to be for the benefit of private commercial real estate development. And we'll see increasing developments that really kind of are creating enclaves of affluence right next to NYCHA housing, in which many of the people are the working poor of the city and it will be excluded from these kind of luxury developments that are happening all around it. So it's like a sea of luxury development with this little tiny pocket of working poor. I worry about the future of planned houses. Aussie Plaza supermarket site. In 2014, the owners of the supermarket sold the site for $54.6 million. And then they sold it to a Chinese transnational LLC. And after a series of speculative flips, it was ultimately purchased to YNG for $155 million, which represents 3 times the original cost just 3 years later. So that is just an indication of how speculative the commercial real estate market is in Flushing.
A lot of the stores are going out of business. If you look down Prince Street, it's a lot of for rent. After F&T built their building, One Fulton, a lot of the businesses went out of business because the rent went up.
So basically what we're seeing, the trend is that residential housing is being demolished in favor of commercial development.
Right.
That's what we're seeing. Residential housing that probably was a source of affordable housing has now been demolished, and the highest and best use for these sites are commercial developments. Market rate commercial developments.
Developers and Community Board 7, DCP, Department of City Planning, they have been fast tracking this rezoning process that there was no community input that was put on. And before starting ULUP process, they didn't contact Minkwon Center and other community members and organizations that were part of the Flushing Rezoning Community Alliance that was the group that fought against the rezoning plan. Last time around, they tried to rezone Flushing.
Before the hearing, chanting in 5 languages and clanging traditional Korean instruments, we held a rally outside Flushing Commons, a new building developed by F&T Group. And F&T Group is one of the several developers behind the current rezoning plan. We rallied to call out how public land was stolen from us. The developer promised affordable housing and public green space in Flushing, but the promise were not kept when the building was opened.
Don't let it be seen! Let flushing be! Let flushing be!
We heard many passionate testimonies from lifelong Flushing residents on how the current rezoning plan would have profound negative social, economic, and environmental impact on Flushing community. Among many residents, Ms. Lee came out to speak at the rally.
안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 저는 브라싱에 사는 이민자 시니어 서민들을 대표해서 민권센터에서 나왔습니다. 제 이름은 이혜숙이고요.
Hi, my name is Haesuk Lee. I'm a member of the Minkwon Center and standing here representing senior, low-income, and limited English proficiency immigrant communities.
86년도 이민 와서 지금까지 투잡도 뛰고 뭐 열심히 했지만 이 렌트 감당을 못하다 보니까 지금도 저는 아주 어렵게 살고 있습니다. 그래서 아메리칸 드림을 꼭 이루고 싶은데 아무튼 서민들을 위한 그런 대책을 좀 세워줬으면 좋겠습니다.
I moved to the U.S. in 1986 to raise my daughter. I was a single mom and had 2 jobs, worked for 7 days a week. I was not rich, but I had a big hope and I was happy pursuing the American dream. But as a senior, it is extremely burdensome to pay rent. I pay all my income to rent, but still, it's not enough to pay the full rent.
그래서 최근 몇 년간 여기 있어요. 최근 몇 년간은 수많은 사람들이 물가 상승으로 인해서 브러싱을 떠나야 하는데 저는 꼭 브러싱에 살면서 아메리칸 드림을 꼭 이루고 싶습니다. 감사합니다.
A lot of people have been leaving Flushing, but I want to stay here and pursue my American dream. Thank you very much.
Community Board 7 members and developers all had reserved seats for the hearing, while everyone else was left to stand or sit on the ground. 2 community board members directly approached several Minkwon community organizers on 2 occasions and demanded they should be quiet and respectful. The situation quietly escalated, and on the first occasion, the chair Eugene Kelty tried grabbing the phone of an organizer who was filming him.
Why are you saying this is a public hearing? This is not a public hearing, and you know it.
It is a public hearing, and please stop saying you want. I don't like my picture taken.
How do you expect me to respect yours?
I'm here and I'm going to run this, and I don't want
No,
I have a right to stand here. I have a right to stand here. Yes, I have a right to stand here.
Step back. Why is he doing that?
Let us speak! Let us speak! Let us speak!
I have a problem.
Let us speak! Let us speak! Let us speak! Let us speak!
CB7 did not give a time limit to the developer-led presentation, even if they have already presented the same presentation in the past committee meetings. But they cut down speaking time for each community members who signed up for public comments from 3 minutes to 1 minute.
Through door knocking, I've learned that a lot of my neighbors struggle with Flushing's high rent payments and the rampant overcrowding. These are problems with luxury condo with more than 1,700 unaffordable units won't solve. Instead, the people of Flushing demand youth centers and senior centers to help the residents already here. We demand that the affordable housing be built on solid ground, not risk of flooding and not blatantly segregated from the hundreds of other luxury apartments. We demand an in-depth investigation into the environmental impact the project will have in Flushing Creek. We're the people of Flushing, and we deserve to have a say in what happens with LA.
Hi, my name is Isabella Lee. I was born and raised in Flushing, a place where I hold all my childhood memories, and as I grew older, I started to see some of the issues prevalent in this growing neighborhood. I live with a single mother who works very hard to support me and my siblings. I'm grateful for all she does for putting a roof over our heads and feeding us, but I don't want to see her struggle with increasing rent. This project of building luxury apartments with will increase prices all around Flushing, and as a Flushing resident, I don't want to see others struggle financially like I've seen my family struggle. Affordable housing is a right that all people should have. Only 61 out of 1,700 units are considered to be affordable housing. However, the AMI is not representative of the income of Flushing residents. According to the 2010 census, 1 in 4 Asian American Flushing residents live in poverty, per capita income of $12,500. 3 in 4 families in Flushing spend over 50% of their monthly income on rent. I want all of the 1,700 units to be affordable so that we can have actual affordable housing and help the homelessness crisis in Flushing. As representatives of Flushing, it is your job to reflect the interests of our community and not the developers. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Yuriko and I'm here with Mekong Community Center and I live in Flushing. This community is very important to me, which is why I want us to realize this fact. Community Board 7 does not represent the 14,000 plus Chinese immigrants living in Flushing. Why I'm here is because the Chinese working class families who lack English proficiency, such as my family, could not make it. The Community Board made no effort to notify our community. I thought this was a Community Board. Shouldn't they be representing us, or at least having interpreters so our community can understand this development? A Community Board can't even do its job of communicating with the community. They say that the stakeholders' claims from before have been met and heard, but the majority of Flushing still does not know about it, as from my experience of door knocking with Flushing tenants. Ask anyone, ask any 姐姐, 叔叔, 哥哥 that actually lives in Flushing, unlike the Community Board. With the delay in this public hearing and the lack of accessibility to it to the Flushing community, shame on Community Board 7 for not taking the right steps in this development. And before, we've already talked about climate change and how it's something that will affect my generation and not Community Board 7, most of Community Board 7 generation. And it's something that needs to be addressed that this development is not helping with.
We are proud that hundreds of community members braved the rain and demanded the real affordable housing, community centers, schools, libraries, robust community service, prevailing wages, jobs, and environmental restoration on this day.